As Avenger lies trapped in the web of the great black widow, and that hideous spider crawls ever closer, he finds his mind drifting off to simpler times, moments before he was embroiled in such madness as led him to this place. How could things have got this bad? How did he come to this? Well, now we get a little insight into his past, and a time that led to all these events. A time before he was ninja. I am ninja. My parents are the heaven and the earth. My home is my body. My power is loyalty. My magic is training. My life and my death is breathing. My body is control. My eyes are the sun and the moon. My ears are sensitivity. My laws are self-protection. My strength is adaptability. My ambition is taking every opportunity with fullness. My friend is my mind. My enemy is carelessness. My protection is right action. My weapons are everything that exists. My strategy is one foot in front of the other. My trust is in quality. My way is the way of the tiger. Hello everybody, I'm Raphael Perry and it's time for some more of The Way of the Tiger. Now, at the end of our last episode, on our second attempt at this challenge, we had managed to gain the flag of Lemne, which has made things a lot easier for us going forwards. We're going to have one or two opportunities to gain a second flag, depending on if we wish to skip Suma or Nara and go straight to Nasaka or Takahiri. Now, at the beginning of the episode, not the beginning of the adventure, Shigeru, the fifth contestant, voiced not only great confidence in himself, but also in all the rest of us, and headed off on his own to Nara instead of trying to obtain the flag from Lemne. Because, you know, there's four of us here, or three if I had gone with him, or headed off to Suma on my own. And I wonder if things would have played out differently if I had arrived at Suma sooner. Because the way he looks at it, there's four of us there, only one of us can claim the flag, and then that's three of us who don't have a flag, and one who does going forwards, which means that wherever we go next, those three are at a disadvantage. And the one who has a flag is also at a disadvantage because there's three other people trying to get them. So, if Shigeru is as competent as his confidence would suggest, he has already obtained the flag from Nara, or is so near to Nara that by the time we have arrived, his travelling through the night will have got him the advantage and he will have gained it by the time we get there. So there's no point going to Nara
yet. Although that is definitely something to explore on future playthroughs. So we would need to cut across to Takahiri or Suma. We do know that obtaining the flag of Suma is incredibly difficult and deadly. It did us in last time, although I'm tempted to explore again. That being said, attempting to obtain the flag of Lemne involved a very difficult fight. The dice clearly hated me and wanted to show off one of the auto kills early on. I was in fact advised to keep the end of the last episode as a save point. I might not do that, but if I have to repeat that section again, as it's just for one fight really, I'll do it. Well, no, it's 2 fights. I'll do it off screen and report if I lost any damage, and I'll probably have to use 1 point of inner force again. So I'm reckoning I'll head to Suma once again, fight the monks at the bridge, and see how it goes when I get there. So, off to Suma we go. You jog north along the Imperial Road to Suma as the dawn's first light swells in the sky, the white paved road abruptly changing into normal grey paving stones as you progress. You are disguised now as a simple traveller and you make good progress. The countryside around you is verdant and dotted with various paddy fields where families are emerging to start their day's farming. At first, there are no other travellers except those breakfasting in post stations along the road, but soon you pass a few traders carrying stock by palanquin and a small kabuki entertainment troupe. You overhear the troupe talking about monks of the Scarlet Mantis whom they passed on the road. You pretend to rest on a log by the roadside and continue to overhear what you can until they are out of earshot. It appears that the monks, worshippers of Quan's twisted vile brother Vile, yes, the vile brother Vile, are waiting by the bridge over the river of Ketsuiki, watching all who pass over it, apparently seeking out some followers of Quan. You decide to travel off-road. You keep to the high ground until you spot the bridge and the distinctive red jackets of the monks that stand out like 5 blood-stained fingerprints in the distance. You are just about to cross the river further upstream when you spot another potential problem. Behind you, you can just make out Daon and Aiko walking together along the road, and you decide it only fair to warn them of this threat, which is not part of the trial. Ooh. There we are. You appear out of the bushes alongside the road, calling over Daon and Aiko to tell them of the danger that lies ahead. They appear just as surprised as you to learn that the monks of the Scarlet Mantis were somehow expecting them. And, again, I'd like to remind the audience that Shigeru went his own way and abandoned the other 4 of us rather early on in our journey. Additionally, I'm going to make a leap of logic here, because Gorobei has not followed Aiko and Daon. Since we cannot visit both Nasaka and Takahiri in a single playthrough, I suspect that Gorobei will obtain whichever one of those 2 we do not get. So from Lemne, he has cut cross-country to either Nasaka or Takahiri. Given that we've gone to Suma, he's probably gone for Takahiri, and will obtain that one. But if we somehow manage to gain the flags at both Suma and Nasaka, which I find highly unlikely, and in fact, we may be honour forbidden from obtaining a 3rd flag. We may decide 2 is enough, let's give the others a chance. Alright? So that would mean if we get both of those, then Shigeru will have failed here and Gorobei will have 2. If we do not obtain both of these, Gorobei can have gained Takahiri and magically float to whichever one of these. No, I think he's going to have to get both these two. Which would mean Shigeru has failed. Or could even be a non-contestant, a spy who has infiltrated. And if we could learn that from the Scarlet Mantis monk imprisoned at Suma, that would be interesting. We could simply travel upstream and find another crossing, Aiko says. We do not need to fight. No, we must confront them, Daon says, hitting his fist into the palm of his left hand, and drive them and their contempt by the ideology from the island. Contemptible. Blah! My mouth is not working well this morning. You say that you prefer to face them to learn more about how they know to expect you all. On this point, everyone can agree, although Daon's eyes narrow. Only if that means searching their corpses, he adds. Daon reminds me of the Outlaws from the Just Williams stories. Is it Ginger? Is it Ginger Henry and Douglas? He doesn't remind me of Douglas. He reminds me of Ginger or Henry. I think it's Ginger. You quickly hatch a plan between you. You and Aiko change into your ninja costumes and sneak under the cover of foliage to the riverside. You float underwater using your breathing tubes until directly under the bridge, where you grab handholds on the wooden arch, but remain out of sight. Meanwhile, Daon has been slowly approaching the bridge on his own, much to the cruel chuckling of the 5 monks of the Scarlet Mantis, who crack their knuckles and remark that a solitary follower of Quan will be an easy kill. You look across to Aiko alongside you. You both nod and coordinate your attack. In a single fluid motion, together you vault over the bridge's barricade and launch kicks into the shaven heads of your nearest opponents, who have no time to even raise an arm in defence. 2 monks fall with a thud against the wooden floor of the bridge. With 2 incapacitated, you and Aiko now fight 1 monk each, and Daon rushes in to engage the last, so there were 5 of them, just as there had been 5 of us at the beginning of the mission. They definitely matched and intended to face us 1 for 1 to prove their superiority, rather than bringing superior numbers. Although I'm sure they would not be above using their superior numbers against us, being monks of the Scarlet Mantis. Like all of these monks, your opponent has a Scarlet Mantis tattooed on his forehead. His brow furrows in concentration as he prepares to match his martial arts against yours. We're going to go with Teeth of the Tiger throw. Because we're both martial artists, we are low-ranking inexperienced martial artists, so any bonuses we can gain from throwing will put us in good stead. Here we go. Whoa, a little bit too far. Quite a bit too far, actually. You spring forward, trying to wrap your legs around your opponent's muscular neck. The monk of the Scarlet Mantis is a defense of 6 against the Teeth of the Tiger throw, and we're going to note down his 14 endurance. There we go. Because it's the first book, we have no modifiers. So we're going straight for the dice roller. 2d6. Ah! A 6. We've failed. If you fail to throw him, you land in a roll on the bridge and spring to your feet. You're off balance, though, and the monk repeatedly punches at your ribs in an explosive frenzy of violence. Your hasted defense against this is also a 6. Let's roll. He gets an 8, which will hit us. If we try to block, he'll need a 6+. That's a 5 or less to miss. Not worth it. We'll just take the damage. He hits hard. 1 die plus 1 is heavy damage. 6 whole points for such an early encounter in the adventure. It might be the damage that's high on these early fights. Let's try another throw. Because theoretically, we can't roll so badly again. I probably shouldn't have said... There we go, 7. Excellent. We've thrown him. We'll get +2 to hit and damage. So we'll go for a punch. As he straightens up, you drive an iron fist punch into the monk's gut, trying to blast the air from his body and rupture his internal organs. So we will have our +2 modifier. Double 6, +2, 14. Boom, bam, absolutely landed that punch. And let's make it count. 4 whole points, because we rolled a 2. Bit low, but hey. We're now looking... He's knocked off 6 of ours. We've knocked off 4 of his. Not ideal, but a 10 to 14 ratio is kind of okay. As he survives, he lashes out to strike you with a winged horse kick. Your defense against this is 7, which is actually reasonable. He's going to need an 8 or higher. Okay, now we're going to call for a block. He rolls a 6. We have successfully blocked. We'll get -2 to hit, and I think we will take that as a punch. Unsurprisingly, our punch misses. And he will try to kick us and also fail. At which point, we're going for another throw. Okay. We have successfully thrown him, and as he stands and rises, we'll go for a leaping tiger kick. Just as he's not quite on his feet yet, fully. Flying kick to the face. In an explosive burst of power, you spring into the leaping tiger kick aimed at your monk's head. It's harder to hit, but we have a +2 bonus because he's standing back up again. 10 + 2 is 12. Excellent. So, we are looking at 1 + 4 because it's a kick. Bam. 6 whole points. Excellent. As he survives, the monk feigns a kick then tries to punch you in your kidneys. Your defense against this is 6. So we definitely want to be punching from this point. Or throw then punch. That's a very successful punch. And as he would be hitting on a 6 on the reroll, we're not going to try and block. We will just take the damage. Oh, 7 whole points. He maxed it. That's going to hurt when we arrive in Suma. We can drop him in a single punch. More realistically, 2 punches. We could throw. I'll go straight to the punch. If we successfully throw, then we only need to roll a 2 on damage to take him out. If we fail to throw, he's hitting us on a 7 again with a 6 on the reroll. We're going straight to the punch because it gets us a better defense. And we could take him out on a 4. I'm not going to waste in a force on this. I probably should, but I'm not. So, we punch. Game does not like us punching. He kicks. Game does not like him kicking. We punch. Very successfully. Excellent. 1d6, 2 bloody points. Game hates us. He fails to kick. We punch. He kicks. He kicks us. Fuck it, we'll block. The block is successful, which means we will punch one more time at -2 and miss. He will kick and just miss. We will punch. For fuck's sake, he will kick. We will block. We successfully block. We try to punch again. Successfully. Got to roll a 2. Rolled a fucking 1 for damage! And then he will fail to kick us. Excellent. We punch. No, we don't punch. He kicks. He does not kick successfully. We punch. No, he kicks. No, we punch. Yes. I'm seeing a lot of clustering here, so I'll be resetting the dice after this. Our successful punch does at least 1 point of damage because it rolls a bloody 2 and takes him out. Fuck me. Oh, we're going to die in Sumer again, aren't we? We're going to get killed by Dawn, even though we're not going to disguise ourselves as a slag this time. Actually, if she's a courtesan, she's probably a bit better than that. So, for my international viewers, slag is a derogatory term similar to slut. Now, Americans love using the term slut, but they never use slag. Which makes me wonder if they are aware of the difference. This is the difference. A slag is like a slut, but she's also rubbish at the thing that sluts do. So both of them are women who are highly promiscuous and like to use their bodies to get what they want, and it's always their go-to. Their main method is to sleep with someone. The difference is that a slag is rubbish in bed. But she just keeps throwing herself at people anyway because it's all she knows how to do and she thinks it's all she can do. And they're like, oh yeah, okay, sod it, give her a pity shag or whatever. Because she's easy, whatever reason. But yeah, essentially, and it's not a very nice insult, It's a nastier insult than calling someone a slut, and generally you don't call someone a slut in this country. You call them something like a slapper, But anyway, yeah. The monks are defeated. Finally. At great cost to our personal endurance points. Again, we're but a lowly novice. We're learning as are they. And it hurt like hell. The monk is felled by your last blow and lies unmoving. You see that Dawn has executed a whirlpool throw on his opponent and finished him off with a vicious kick. Aiko catches her battered opponent with a teeth of the tiger throw, sending him toppling over the wooden barricade of the bridge and into the water below, which gushes red. In which case, presumably, he banged his head on the side of the bridge on the way down or something. Dawn checks on the two that you and Aiko incapacitated earlier, but they are already dead. A moment passes, then suddenly the last monk you had felled springs up, having been feigning death, and breaks into a run. Is that the one that Aiko threw into the water after we had felled our opponent? And so the spreading red in the water was some kind of dye or paint that he had as an escape mechanism. That would be an interesting thing to have. Yep, just in case you should happen to fall into water, rip this small bag of powder, and it will look like there's a load of blood in the water, which will also be all over you when you get out. It's like an octopus, or a squid, with the jet of ink. You hurl a shuriken at his back, as does Aiko, and the monk collapses again. You jog over and double-check that he is dead, just to make sure, and collect your shuriken. Good throw, Dawn comments, both of you. I notice we did not leave anyone alive for questioning, Aiko says. Dawn grins, then conducts a quick search for bodies before taking great delight in tossing them into the river. You're about to offer to help, but Aiko quietly advises you not to spoil his fun. Yeah, he's probably enjoying this more than the prospect of winning the competition. In fact, even if he loses, he will be proud of the fact that he has defeated monks of the Scarlet Mantis. Dawn walks over and hands you an obsidian bracelet he found on one of the bodies. We will absolutely write that down on our character sheet again. Since you warned us of this ambush, this rightfully belongs to you. I sense it has some inner power, but I do not know its nature. You rest and share a quick meal of berries you have gathered along the way. You may restore up to 2 lost endurance points. We absolutely need those 2 lost endurance points. We're now back up to 9. 45%! Hey, it's better than the 35% we had. We'll take it. Then you continue on the road to Suma with the others, wary of further enemies. Abomination of Death, that said. I don't like the sound of that. Ah, nice picture. We might have to use that for the thumbnail if we don't have another one. Okay. It just seems to go on and on and on forever upwards. Up the hillside, up the side of the valley. You and Aiko dress as travellers again and walk with Daon along the paved road north. He doesn't seem to be disguising himself. He is a native of this island, so he can behave like one. So his presence as a monk of Quan would be more accepted, although his family and our worship were driven from this island, so he's not that accepted. The way grows busy with traders taking their wares to Lemne by palanquin, and you also see samurai patrols in green lacquered armour. The sun is setting as you are admitted into the gates of Suma, and you pass by the harbour where foreign ships are strictly kept to their own docks. In the native area of the waterfront, you notice a warship called the Setsudanki, that dwarfs all others, manned by samurai in grey lacquered armour, and flying a grey flag bearing the mons of 3 interlocking black rings. Green is local, grey is visitor. If I do want to go for the samurai disguise this time, I will have to see what colour armour is available to me. If I can only get hold of grey armour, then I will be suspicious if I try and enter various parts of the palace. And if green, I will be expected to know my way about. Although there may be a kind of standardised layout, so I might be familiar with the way the place is built anyway, as a cultural thing, as part of things I might have learnt back at the monastery rather than from visiting many such locations in the past. The chatter on the street is that the local Daimyo Arai is hosting a banquet for a daimyo from the northern islands. You emerge out before Suma Castle, which dominates the city, a vast defensive fortification set against the sea cliffs. The stone towers are marked with grey flags bearing the mons of a black moon, but from this distance you cannot see any that bear the golden trim you seek. The 3 of you head closer, passing numerous swordsmiths, armourers, and lacquerware enterprises that are closing for the night. In the background you hear the barking of dogs from somewhere inside the castle walls. You make discreet inquiries about the gold-trimmed flag, and you learn that it is said to be kept in a guarded room somewhere near the banquet hall of the castle. Hence why everything seemed to converge on the banquet hall last time. Aiko scrutinises the other wall and its moat. It is at times like this I am glad for the training of the ninja. Are you thinking to sit this one out, Daon? Ninja are not the only ones who can enter such a place, Daon replies. The Grand Master of the Dawn let 2 daimyo know that we were coming, so that the tests do not always call for masters of stealth or trickery. We shall see who is first to find that flag inside. May Quan go with you both. Daon leaves at once. Aiko offers to work with you to find a way inside, but you tell her that you prefer to work on your own, and she too departs. We could disguise ourselves as a courtesan. That did not turn out too well last time. We could use the 7 ways of going to enter Suma Castle disguised as a samurai. We can scale the outer wall to assess the castle defences. We lack the climbing skill. We may still be able to climb without it anyway, but less effectively, or we may be observed. Decide that there may be easier flags to find elsewhere and leave the city along the road to the capital city of Nasaka. So if I end the episode here, which I'm not going to do, I could then record going in disguised as a samurai, balls it up, go, oh dear, start the next episode and say, oh look, I've made my mind up, I'm going to go straight to Nasaka. Let's disguise ourselves as a samurai. Nothing to do with pizza cakes. I never even saw that advert. But at school, for something like half a year, end lunchtime and break times, everyone was going, "Samurai pizza cakes!" And apparently it was something to do with an advert that they'd all seen on the telly. My family didn't have a television. You stalk the dark streets of Suma, seeking out a lone samurai to ambush and knock unconscious. You're in your element in the darkness, and a lone, unsuspecting samurai will make easy prey. Decide whether you target the green-armoured samurai of Daimyo Arai, or the grey-armoured samurai of the visiting daimyo from the northern islands. Now, if you choose the Daimyo Arai's samurai, your plan is to pretend you are returning from patrolling Suma and have been ordered to take the night duty watch. If you choose the visiting daimyo's samurai, your plan is to pretend you got lost on the way to the banquet through the maze of streets. Either way, you quickly find a target in the streets, knock him out and put on the armour. Its weight makes you feel restricted and cumbersome as you make your way to the gate of Suma Castle. Once there, a samurai in green lacquer armour stops you and stands expectantly, waiting for you to say something. Now, this is sowing seeds of doubt. If I say I've returned from patrol, they will say, "What patrol?" Right? But the man who was wearing this armour was outside the castle, either patrolling or relaxing, doing something, so we can... They will expect the armour to return, just not necessarily with a different person inside it. So we have a plausible excuse for being outside the castle. However, if we say we're returning from patrol, we're here to relieve you, the man might say, "Wait here while I go check with a superior officer," and leave me in the company of some other guards, and the superior officer will say, "You're not expected to be relieved yet." The man might say, "Hang on, I've just started my own shift, mate. What are you doing here?" Saying you're going to, so could get a bit uppity. If we do wear the grey armour, we have the plausible excuse of not being a local and getting lost on our way here and being a little bit late. However, once we get inside the castle, this all changes. I'm going to stick with my gut and the green armour. I suspect there may be 2 or 3 checks as to which colour armour we're wearing. If we wear the green armour, we are accountable. We are expected to behave a certain way, and there are some limits on our behaviour. If we wear the grey armour, we are less accountable, but there are much stricter limits on what we are allowed to do. So we are wearing the green armour because even though now I'm doubting it a bit, I'm hoping that doubt will be temporary and my initial opinions about the green armour are far more appropriate. So we're wearing the green armour, we're coming back, we've been out in the village, it's time for us to come back inside. Not so sure about saying we're relieving someone of their duty, but let us see. "Show me your orders," the samurai demands. You advise that you have left them behind. Suddenly, several other samurai are around you with their katana drawn. "Why would a samurai patrolling the city be required here mid-shift?" the samurai said. "Yeah, mid-shift, thought so." "You're an imposter, will have to explain yourself further. As this is a contest and not a covert mission, you decide to throw yourself on the clemency of Daimyo Arai. Which didn't go so well last time, mind you. Your hands are bound behind you, and you are escorted under armed guard from the main castle and taken to a room with 2 iron cages. I suppose if we only had to get to the banquet hall, the grey armour would have just allowed us to go straight there, because that's a location we're allowed to visit. But if we wish to infiltrate the room containing the flag whilst wearing the grey armour, we'd probably be caught there as well. So we're pretty much all converging on this encounter as a core theme for this location. All of your equipment is removed from you. Note you cannot choose any option referring to your ninja equipment, including shuriken, until you can replenish it. Now, later on we will have an option to either release the prisoner here or recover all of our equipment. In theory, if we get the flag from here and the Lord acknowledges us and says, okay, well done, you've won fair and square, then he should let us take all our things back. So asking to recover our equipment is pointless. However, if he does not, and we need to complete the rest of the mission without our equipment at all, we'd lose the iron sleeves, which means we wouldn't be able to block. It's potentially very dangerous. If you have the flag of Lemne, then fortunately you get to retain it, since you have it tucked under your clothing and the guards miss it in their check. The only other item that is not taken from you is the obsidian bracelet, which the guards mistake for being part of your clothing. Additionally, there are no other items we could have obtained at this point. Right? We got the flag of Lemne, the obsidian bracelet, we don't have the green samurai armor. Okay, so that's an item we could have obtained. So essentially, our ninja equipment is just temporarily disabled. You are locked in an iron cage, ropes still on, and the samurai leave to fetch the overseer to report they have caught a ninja. The cage opposite contains a monk of the Scarlet Mantis. His skin is marked with many bruises and lesions, his nose caked with dried blood, and his lip burst open. He sits cross-legged, unmoving, watching you with bloodshot eyes. "Let me guess," he says. "You are one of the followers of Quan that we were sent to Suma to stop. Never mind, for you now face a greater mutual threat. This daimyo will force you to fight for his edification. As the leader of my group of monks, I once had a bracelet that allowed me to resist the effects of the control chain, but I lost it in my last fight." Either he did not have the only such bracelet, or it was stolen from him before that last fight, because the monk at the bridge did not seem to have escaped from here. Or he's just hoping we've brought the bracelet here and he's pretending it was his. You say nothing, waiting for him to continue. When he does not, you ask him his name. "I am Yaris," he says. "I have been forced to fight my brother monks in single combat until only I now remain. If you have some way to overcome the control chain they place on you, then during the fight you may get a chance to escape this accursed place, although it is ringed with samurai, and the attempt may yet be futile. If you can free me from this cage instead, I will show you a different way out of the castle." Yes, a way out to death, perhaps. You point out that you owe no favours to any enemy of Quan. "Be that as it may, I offer you a hidden way out, and a temporary truce in exchange for my freedom." What, truce until we leave the castle, or until we are... I'm going to presume he's honourable enough that he means until we're out of each other's sight and earshot. "That is the deal. I would rather die freely than live as Arai's puppet." You are silent. It is not long before the two samurai arrive, open your cage, and put a lead chain around your neck that glows a soft green. They make a comment to Yaris that it will be his turn to fight again soon enough, as they lead you outside to the banquet hall. If he gets us out of here, he may give us some information, like who sent them, who told them we would be here. And it was suggested in the last episode that I should arrange for his escape. But I don't feel too comfortable about that. You're led into a large hall where a young man on a raised platform is practicing sword moves with a veteran samurai, much to the amusement of the gathered crowd. He pauses to take a dramatic swig of sake offered by a maidservant, then turns to observe you. Although dressed in the style of a warrior, with swords and armour, he has golden bracers and a gold-lined war fan bearing his mons that indicates he is a daimyo. The hall itself has numerous guests and samurai present. And yes, I am blatantly checking for that picture. All standing clear at the side of the room. Guarding the platform are 4 samurai in green lacquered armour. Green lacquered. ED. The lacquer is on the armour, it's not made of it. That's something like the 3rd or 4th time we've come across that, and it's starting to bother me. Hands on the hilts of their katana. A courtesan in the corner plucks the strings of her biwa, singing a tale about the usurper who stole the throne of Ersmancast. Her song comes to an abrupt end, although she continues to play her music, which punctuates the conversation. "Ah!" Daimyo Arai says, for surely it is he. "So Daimyo Jikyu was right. The followers of Quan were trying to steal from me. From me!" From behind you in the hall, 2 more samurai arrive with another prisoner. It is Daon, who also wears a control chain around his neck. His eyes show no recognition of you. The samurai use their wakizashi to cut the ropes that bind your hands, and likewise for Daon. "I have seen the skills of those of Vile who sought to sneak into my castle," Daimyo says. "And now it is the turn of the followers of Quan to educate us all in the art of battle. You will fight each other to the death." You rub your wrists to remove the numbness from them. You survey the hall and feel a sudden rush of hope as Aiko steps onto the platform disguised as the maidservant refilling Daimyo Arai's sake. Why did we get Arai twice? Because I tried to say Arake and managed to stop myself by looping back to the beginning of the word. On her way back down, she glances at you and you use a hand signal known only to the ninja to see if she can help you. Make a note if you indicate tools that she should fetch your confiscated ninja equipment, or indicate prisoner that she should free Yaris, the monk of the Scarlet Mantis in the next room. Well, in theory, if we obtain the mons from here, we don't need a 3rd one, so we don't need our ninja equipment and can continue the adventure without it. I do not feel comfortable freeing a monk of the Scarlet Mantis, even under a temporary truce. So I'm going to go tools again. Even though one viewer suggested otherwise. Daimyo Arai raises his war fan, and at the signal the courtesan stops playing the biwa, leaving the room in a tense silence. Daon assumes a martial stance and warily circles you. The obsidian bracelet that you wear is somehow negating the effect of the control chain around your neck, but Daon wears no such bracelet. He will be fighting to kill, but you must buy time until Aiko can help you. You decide only to use throws against your fellow devotee of Quan. The thing is, she could just steal the flag for herself. I don't think we're getting this one. The Dragon's Tail throw, Teeth of the Tiger throw, the Whirlpool throw. Well, Daon is an experienced monk, so the Whirlpool throw won't really work well against him. I mean, none of these will. We'll try the Teeth of the Tiger throw. He's a little, being somewhat mentally controlled, he might not be in full control of his faculties. Might not expect us to go straight for the head. I said the Teeth of the Tiger throw, not the Whirlpool throw. I turned to the wrong section. There we go. Make a note of how many times you try to throw down. You overcome your hesitation about attacking a friend and leap upwards, your head's trying to wrap around his neck. Oh, defense 7, that's going to be hard. Well, we might as well just roll it. 8! Hooray! If you're successfully thrown down, then you do not follow up with any kick or punch, and do not change any modifier. Instead, you gain some breathing space, and he will not counterattack you at this time. If you fail to throw down, then he does not appear to recognize you due to the control chain, and drives a vicious kick at your jaw, and he kicks really hard like a mule. If you're still alive and this was your third attack, so I'm thinking Dragon's Tail throw might be a little bit easier. The Whirlpool throw is a trap. We've found the easy mode. Make a note of how many times you tried to throw down. You slided his legs, casting aside your hesitation in attacking a friend. His defense against this is only a 6, and now that I've said it, I hope I haven't jinxed it. Come on, 7 or higher. No! Oh! If you fail to throw down, then he does not appear to recognize you due to the control chain and twists his upper body to jab and elbow at your throat. Your defense against this is 6, and you may... Okay. What was our defense against the counter from the Teeth of the Tiger throw then? I'm not sure. Our defense may have been higher. Oh well, he will try to hit us. Unsuccessfully! Yes! We will then make our third, and we'll go Dragon's Tail again. Getting down between his legs, trying to twist. We don't even have to slide in, we're kind of already there. We just need to sort of like raise our legs up, insert them back under his, with a twist of the hips, and yeah, successful throw! We don't follow up with a kick or punch, and do not change our modifier. Instead, we gain some breathing space, and he will not counterattack this time. We are alive, and it is our third attack. Oof. We have not been slain by one of our fellow monks. You fall back from combat with down to catch your breath and gain a little more time. That means we're not falling back from combat with him. We're falling back from combat with him. So, Darn and us are not falling back. We are backing away from combat with him, not he is coming with us. It's all in the inflection and easy to get wrong on a cold read. So, you fall back from combat with Darn. No. That was... The pause between combat and with is because I'm asthmatic and running out of breath. If I pause between combat and with, it sounds like he's coming with me. I need to not pause between combat and with to make it sound like I'm breaking away from the combat that is with him. You fall back from combat with Darn to catch your breath, and it still really sounds like I'm saying it the wrong way. If you break away from combat with Darn, that sounds better, but here we go. You fall back from combat with Darn to catch your... We ever go higher on with? You fall back from combat with Darn to catch your breath and gain a little more time. Yes! Kind of nailed it a little bit, but shit, not really, but I tried. Bloody hell, that's a really awkwardly written sentence to speak out loud. And every sentence should be written to be spoken out loud. Otherwise, it's a badly written sentence. He continues to circle you, ready to attack, his face a mask of concentration. Then, out of the corner of your eye, you see Aiko has returned to the room. This is your chance to act. You tear off both your control chain and your obsidian bracelet, stepping in to grapple again. You manage to slip the bracelet onto Darn's wrist, the only possible reason to remove it from our own. Remove the obsidian bracelet from your character sheet, and he falls back dazed, overcoming the effects of his control chain. Daimyo Arai gets to his feet, spluttering sake as he draws his katana and shouts at his guards to butcher the both of you. Earlier, did you indicate to Aiko to bring our tools, or free the prisoner? Well, we wanted our ninja equipment, which she probably won't be able to hand to us immediately, which does mean the prisoner isn't here to cause a distraction. But we may still make it out alive, nonetheless. Aiko brings you your ninja tools as she hurries over. No, she doesn't. She brings your ninja tools as she hurries over. But countless samurai head towards you. It's a fucking auto-kill, isn't it? Towards you with their katana drawn. You hurl any shuriken you have left before being forced to engage in combat. You, Aiko, and Daon put up a brave last stand, fighting back to back, taking many of the enemy down. Ultimately, though, you are overwhelmed by the sheer number of the samurai and cut to pieces, obviously. Your remains are gathered up the next morning and fed to Daimyo Arai's guard dogs. It really feels like we just shouldn't bother coming here. That is brutal, but it is what it is. Oh, well. It's nasty. Okay. Well, I suppose that'll end this episode here. We are learning how absolutely nasty Daimyo Aiko is. And he's not necessarily dishonourable, as he's been fed a lie by Daimyo Jikyu, who is a... Later on, in Book 2, Daimyo Jikyu is a demon in disguise. He may not be a demon yet, or he might have been a demon the entire time, and never been human at all, in which case he's a demon now, spreading mischief and causing trouble. That mask does not align with those eyes. It's like it's been knocked sideways. It's almost as if this eye is just painted at the wrong angle slightly, but it bothers me. It's more like the mask has just slipped, and the lower portion of this face aligns the nose down here, mouth here, chin here, and the chin's like over here, like wonk. The head is turned this way, though, so it's the face inside that's wrong. Well, I suppose I'm going to end this episode here then. Or for it to be a total git, I would just not upload this one and record it again. And pretend to not make this mistake. Well, it is what it is. I hope you all enjoyed this episode anyway, and I imagine we've all learned from it what a stubborn bugger I can be. I'll say goodbye for now, though, and see you all next time. Cheerio, everyone. Although, actually, I might just record the next episode soon and put it up in a few days rather than waiting another week, because that feels a bit tough after this happened. Oh well, we're all ninjas. See you all next time.